Have y'all heard about the two black twin boys whose bodies were found in the mountains of Georgia? Their names are Quadir and Nazir Lewis.
Guys, I don't know if you have heard the story of the twin brothers, Nazir and Quadir, who were going to Boston to see their friend, but unfortunately they missed their flight. But then they were found deceased at the mountain at Georgia, a sundown town. Now people are making videos saying that they math and mathing. And I totally agree. The math and mathing. And of course, they were black. Now, I did a video some months ago, a white man saying that black people are welcome to come down to Sundown Town. It is very peaceful and all of that. They need black people to come around and blah, blah, blah. Some people obviously reacted to the video and they were like, no way. No way. It is not safe for black people. So these brothers, Nazir and Quadir, were found deceased at the mountain. Now, in a video, a clip that I saw, the family said that they had no plans. They haven't been to Sundown Town before. They haven't been to the mountain before. Again, the math and mathing. Now people are making videos reacting to this whole situation. I don't know if you have heard about this. Let me know in the comment section if you have heard about this story before now. I am just making this video just to create awareness. And guys, please, if at some point watching this video and you feel, triggered, please kindly click out. I just want us to hear from these TikTokers, reacting to this whole situation. Check these videos out.
Have y'all heard about the two black twin boys whose bodies were found in the mountains of Georgia? Their names are Quadir and Nazir Lewis. This happened on Saturday. Today is Monday. Yesterday on Sunday, the police tried to convince the family that it was a self-unaliving and an unaliving of the twin brother. When have y'all ever seen an investigation being closed out that quickly or determined when you found two random bodies in the woods?
Oh my God.
Not to mention, they were on their way to go see friends in Boston and missed their flight. And their bodies happened to be found in a part of Georgia that they had never been to, which also just so happens to be a sundown town. So you want people to believe that they missed their flight to go see their friends, and instead of doing anything else, they decided to go for a random hike in a sundown town in a part of Georgia that they had never been to before. And on top of all that, they still haven't mentioned the two young boys having a history of ideations and wanting to harm themselves or others. So what made you determine that that was the cause? I'm confused. It seems like a cover-up to me.
These twin brothers had a flight booked for Boston at 7 a.m. last Friday, but they never made their flight. And just 24 hours later, they were found deceased in Hiwassee, Georgia, up there in Bell Mountain. The milk stinks and the water stinks. This was Quadir and Nazir Lewis. They were twins. They were 90 miles. They were found 90 miles deceased in Hiwassee, Georgia, up there in Bell Mountain. That is Towns County. Now, the police department, GBI and all them, they are treating this as that they did it to themselves. But we know better down there in Georgia, because many times they're going to cover stuff up down there in Georgia. It doesn't matter who it is. And I have no faith in them to actually get to the truth. Now, this is Bell Mountain. This right here is it's beautiful scenery, beautiful. But I always recommend never go up there alone. I always go with a group of 10 or more people if you look like us. Now, I don't know if they have any upgrades up there because I've been there before in the past, and it's gorgeous. But I wonder if they have any cameras in that area, because that's going to tell the story. Now, let me get to the part to why I say that the milk stinks and the water stinks, and there's going to be some cover-up. Now, where these mountains are located, this park and everything, it's right there in Towns County. Hiwassee is part of Towns County. And you read this right here. Just pause to read. You see that, right? It's not for us. And this march right here, that wasn't that long ago. This right here wasn't that long ago. But that is right there what's up in that county. And this is another reason. You see this map right here. This is the map of Georgia. Okay, this is the map of Georgia. And you see that name down there, the Southern Poverty Law Center. You know what type of groups that they track, right? Go look them up. But this right here is Georgia. I want you to notice three things on here. The number 24, the number 3, and the number 2. 24, 3, and 2. You see where they're located. That's at the top of Georgia right there, North Georgia. Now look at this map. You see right there where that red dot is? That right there is Hiwassee, Georgia. That's where that park is. Right there in Bell Mountain, Towns County. You see it? Is it starting to make sense to you now? Is it starting to make a lot more sense? 24, 3, and 2. You see it. And then those striped lines right there, it tells you that it's all throughout the state of Georgia. All throughout. They're spread out sporadically. And the little dots right through here. But right there, you see where the 24, 3, and 2 is. You see the 7, 2, and the 4 also. But those are how many groups are in that area. How many groups? Go look up the Southern Poverty Law Center. It'll tell you who they are. I showed you all that to say this right here. They didn't do that to themselves. They didn't do that to themselves. And plus, I put out a video a couple of weeks ago telling everybody and warning everybody what is to come, what people are out here doing, and how they are targeting us. Because they made it plain and simple, and they said it very loud. Also, let me say this. That Hiwassee, Georgia is right there at the North Carolina line. There's a whole lot more groups on the other side of that line, right through there. Also on this line right here, too. But there's a lot more groups right there in North Carolina at that line. So the Lewis and the Bronner family, y'all need to get an independent investigator. You need to get an independent investigator to look at this because they're going to try to cover this up because they know what's down there. They know what they've been doing for years. And don't forget their reputation towards people that look like us. I hope the truth actually comes out because they're going to try to cover this up. I hope it comes out. That's a good question. Everybody's been asking that question regarding how did they get there? Was it Uber, Lyft, or anything? So we found out more information. And I'm going to start calling this the Bell Mountain Horrors. And for those that don't know, these are the Lewis twins right here. They were 90 miles from home. They were from Lawrenceville, Georgia. And I've seen other posts on here saying that they were headed to Florida, and some were saying they were headed to Texas. No, they were headed to Boston. They had plane tickets to go to Boston. The names are Quadir and Nazir Lewis. They're both 19 years old, and that's right there is very significant, okay? They were 19 years old. They were found deceased Saturday morning by a hiker on the summit of Bell Mountain. That's near the North Carolina border. The family said that the brothers were supposed to be going to Boston. They had booked a flight to Boston for 7 a.m. That was last Friday, but they never made their flight. And then 24 hours later, they were found deceased in the area. The family said that they had never visited before. And the GBI at first said that, they did this to themselves, said it was a unaliving of themselves. They both did themselves, right? So that right there, we already knew that was BS because there are other stories down there of people that looks like us that end up being deceased in that same area. So some of the things that I found out was their plane tickets were found in their wallets on the mountain. So some of the newer things that we're finding out is they didn't take an Uber or Lyft. Their car was found at Bell Mountain. And then there was a little bit of confusion on when they were last actually seen. So the stepmom originally said Saturday at 3 a.m. The investigator said 3 a.m., right? But then the investigator changed it to 11 p.m. because that investigator stated that he converted the time wrong. So there was some miscommunication right there. Right? Then it was asked, did they have their luggage with them? No, they didn't have their luggage. And as far as their phones were in the car. Now, it's not been confirmed yet whether they checked into their flight or not. Now, I have seen other people saying that they found the weapon next to them and all that stuff, right? But here's my problem with that. The GBI has not released that information. So where are you getting your information? Another thing I want to address is I've seen a lot of people talking about, about the firearm, right? Well, in Georgia, they were only 19. That's why I said it's so significant. In Georgia, you have to be 21 in order to purchase a firearm. These were good, upstanding young men. Don't put anything on them, just because we look like this. And I'm addressing a lot of the comments made by people that looks like this, that are automatically saying thugs and all this stuff. These were outstanding young men. So I'm pretty sure they're testing for GSR, on their hands and all that stuff, because somebody could have did it to them, or they could have forced them to do it, by holding their hand. All kinds of things are possible. But I do not believe that they did this to themselves. The milk stinks and the water stinks.
So family members of twin brothers Quadir and Nazir Lewis, 19 years old, are asking for answers as they were found on the top of Bell Mountain unalived. Now, the story that investigators are stating is that one brother took out one brother and then the other brother took out themselves, and the family members are saying that is not possible whatsoever. Now, they were supposed to be on a trip to Boston to visit friends. They had a flight for 7 a.m. Friday, March the 7th to visit some friends in Boston, but they actually never made it to that flight. And on Saturday the 8th, a hiker actually found both of the twins on top of Bell Mountain. Now, when this news got to the family members, they were like, no, not possible. These are two boys that are very close. They have a very good support support system. They're always together and they're very protective of each other. So this is not adding up to them. Now they are asking for additional investigating to be done because currently the ruling is one that they are absolutely stating is not going to be accurate for them. They even state that Bell Mountain is not something that they would do. It's not something in their routine, and it is actually a good 90 miles away from their actual home. So they state, how did they even get there? How did they even know about this place? This does not sound like them. This does not add up. So they have asked for investigators to continue to investigate. So hopefully making sure that their story gets, some awareness. Maybe somebody knows something. Maybe somebody has seen something. Now the family does have a GoFundMe for expenses for their funeral so that they can go ahead and bury them together, because of course this was not something planned and or expected for two 19-year-old twins who families say were so close. So please keep this family in your thoughts as they try to get answers as to what actually happened to the twins, because they do not believe the way that things currently are looking is going to be accurate, and they want answers as to what actually happened to them so that if somebody needs to be held accountable, they can.
Whatever safety measures you taking when traveling, you need to make sure you got it down to the T. Did y'all hear about the twins, Kadir and Nazir, being unalived in Georgia, then being found in the mountains? Now, some of the details are unclear, but they missed a flight in Georgia and ended up in the Georgia mountains. You see some of the same things happening with people traveling all over the world. Look at the girls that went to Mexico. I got a friend I knew where I'm from who moved to North Carolina and ended up being unalived and body found next to the woods. Be safe out here when y'all traveling, man. Do not talk to strangers. Don't get in a car with strangers. Don't party with strangers. None of that. Your life is not worth a brief moment of happiness. Now, I don't know what those two twin guys had going on, but they was too young to be done that way. Take precaution when y'all travel to these different areas, man, and have your location on at all times.
Twin brothers, 19, were found deceased on a North Georgia mountain. Their family is calling BS on what the police are saying, so let's get into it. Qadir and Nazir Lewis were supposed to fly from Atlanta to Boston on March 7th of this year. They missed their flight, and the next day their bodies were found shot dead at Bell Mountain, which is a remote spot in North Georgia. The same day their bodies were discovered, and police quickly ruled it a murder-suicide, saying one brother shot the other and then him. Now, the family is in complete disagreement with this. They immediately pushed back, saying the twins were inseparable. They had never even seen them fight before, according to their uncle. The family had no history of violence between the two, and they had big plans for the future. And they also still had the plane tickets in their wallets, which clearly suggests that they intended to make that flight to Boston. The biggest mystery, how did they end up 100 miles from home in a place that they'd never been? They had no connection to it, they weren't historically hikers, and also, no one knows how they physically got there, if they drove or who they may have met on the way, and police have witnessed no witness statements, no reports, no security footage, or anything about a weapon. And Bell Mountain, where they were found, is located in Hiawassee, Georgia, in Towns County, which is known historically for being a sundown town. And Towns County, for decades, had 0 black residents. It did at one point in their census, and then they all vanished, and there weren't any black people to name. And even in recent years, black travelers have been warned to stay away from Towns County after dark. So how did 2 black teens end up there? And the family firmly believes that the police rushed to call it a murder-suicide. They came to this conclusion the same day the bodies were found, with no real answers on the timeline, no clarity on the cause of death, and no info on whose weapon it was and where it came from. People are in fear that the police aren't going to look any further than their murder-suicide theory. And considering the history of the town and the suspicion around the case in general, I'd say, well, can you blame them? So, what do you guys think? Do you think this is a murder-suicide, or do you think something sinister is at play here? Let me know in the comments.
Okay, hear me out, okay? I do not want to believe, or I am not believing the story that the twin brothers unalived themselves. That story is not making sense. I don't want to say that I don't know why the police or the people that are investigating this, the story, or the incident, I don't want to say that I don't know why they are not coming forth with, tangible information or doing their job, basically. Of course, those twins were black. So what do you expect? What do you really expect? This story really, it breaks my heart. It breaks my heart. I just want to send out my condolences to the family. Losing twins. Twins. So I took some screenshots of comments randomly so you guys can see what people, are saying about this whole situation. Please pause to read, guys, if you want to. Now, from the comment section, some people were asking, where is Sundown Town, or what is a Sundown Town? So if you are watching this video and probably you don't know, please Google about it. Google about this town. Okay. People really need to be mindful and be vigilant of their surroundings. If you are traveling at the airport, do not speak to strangers. If something happens, please let your family members know, and do not, just go out without letting them know your location or where you're going or anything, because strange things are happening. And you all know, as long as it is a black person that is involved, the authorities are not going to do anything. We know that. This is very sad. Losing twin brothers. Anyways, you guys, let me know what you all think in the comment section. Obviously, they are still, carrying on with the investigation. And of course, I'm going to bring the updates to you. So let me know what you all think in the comment section. And thank you all so much for watching. Don't forget to share this video. Of course, I'm going to see you all in my next video. You all stay safe. Bye.